What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a deck discussion video. Now this is a deck, a Honda deck, sorry, that came top 2 in the ARG circuit, and I just thought it was really interesting. I wanted to do a bit of a discussion and an analysis on it as well, just because I thought it was quite interesting. Now the guy who ran this deck also came, I think it was top 4 in a 2011 regional, I think it might have been, or YCS, one or the other. I can't remember off the top of my head. So the guy's played Hunters for a while, and he's pretty good. Obviously, he's also in a regular person in the Pojo thread, the Hunter strategy guide that I'm in as well. So he's he's around, and I just kind of wanted to give my opinions on some of the card choices and different things like that. So I'll just go straight into kind of like what he ran, and then I'll do some discussion on key cards that I think are different, and if it needs to be spoken about. So we have 3 Thunder Seahorse, 3 Mahunda, 3 Pahunda, 2 Sisunda, 2 Violent Prisma, and 1 Honest for the monsters. So that's 14 monsters. Then we have 3 Pot of Duality, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, 3 Recycling Battery, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Book of Moon for 11 magics and spells. Sorry. And then for the traps, we have 3 Traps done, 3 Vanity's Emptiness, 3 Imperial Iron Wall, 2 Seven Tools of the Bandit, 1 Soul Drain, 1 Compulse, 1 TT, 1 Sullen Warning. For his side, he had 2 DD Crow, 2 The Calibrator, 2 Messenger Piece, 3 DNA Surgery, 2 Goes and Match, 3 Chain Disappearance, and 1 Dust Tornado. And then finally for the extra deck, you have an M7, which just disappeared there, sorry about that. 1 M7, 2 Constellar Omega, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Direwolf, 1 Cowboy, 1 Maestroke, 1 Star Liege, 1 Black Ship, 1 Violon de Sigma. And then for the synchros, we have a Avenging Airknight Parshaf, Crimson Blader, Stardust Sparkle Dragon, Thought Ruler Archfiend, and finally Scrap Dragon to round it off at 15. So, kind of going through the deck, the monster lineup very standard. In this format currently, a lot of people have either played 2 Sisunda or played none. That's kind of been the standard thing, and a lot of people have kind of gone under the, been under the opinion, or had the opinion, that Sisunda is too slow for this format. Now Dave, I think his name is, disagrees with that. He likes Sisunda just because of the amount of pluses and the amount of searching it can do with your deck. So I do agree with that. That's why I ran Sisunda a lot, and that's why I've always ran it. I have been testing builds without it, and it's fine because I run a KKD build. I do run KKD in mine, so it kind of makes up for not having Sisunda. But the synergy that the card has with the deck is quite vital and adds a lot to what the deck can offer, to be honest. So yeah, the 2 Violent Prisma, it's either 2 or 3 people run it at. 3 can be overkill at times. I think that's normally why I run it at 2. But 3, it's such a good card that I think you can run it at 3 and it doesn't really affect you all that much. So not really much to say about that. 3 Pot of Duality, pretty standard. I think it's a very good card in this deck because you're not crippled by special summons, but not being able to special summon, you can defend yourself. 3 MST, this is one that I was a bit unsure about. I guess it's to stop you, get rid of those end phase MST when they set against dragons, like those 6th Sense, stop the Ravine plays, the returns and vanities and all that. So I guess I can understand why that's there. I'm not sure about 3, but he said it was just for back row hate, and got to respect that. That's fair enough. 3 Recycling Battery. Completely understand. I only run 2, but I completely understand that in this type of build where he only has 14 monsters and 13 of them can be brought back. Oh no, sorry, not 13. I do apologise. 10 of them can be brought back. Obviously, Seahorse can't be brought back by Recycling Battery because its attack is 1,600 and not 1,500 or lower. Dark Hole and Book of Moon, I think those 2 are brilliant in this deck, so yeah, that's fine. So going on to the traps, and where the main discussion of the actual deck is, and where it kind of got its dragon hate from. So we have 3 traps done, 3 vanities, and 3 Imperial Iron Wall. So I'll go with the Trapstun. I thought 3 Trapstun was quite odd, but until I heard his reasoning, and his reasoning basically was it was to stop, his opponents, so he could go off happily. Obviously, that's a very obvious one. But it was to stop his opponents, that vanities. There's Imperial Iron Walls, well, not Imperial Iron Wall, but mainly, the vanities, and it's also to protect his vanities, because he was saying that those 2 combos, if they like MST, for example, if you got vanities face up and Trapstun face down, and they obviously MST the Trapstun to try and get rid of 2 cards, you activate the Trapstun and vanities doesn't die because it's negated, so its destruction doesn't go off, its card effect doesn't go off. So it's a cute little play that I do think, and again with the dragon matchup, if you don't stop that Sixth Sense, you don't stop the return, it's you're probably going to lose. So I completely understand why he put them in. I don't know if I would have 3 Trapstun mains. I have 2 currently that I've been testing before I saw this deck list, and it's working good, but I just feel 3 might be a little bit cloggy. The 3 Vanities Emptiness, yeah, fair enough. Like, this is one of the biggest special summon hate cards ever currently, and it works really well in this deck, so I think that's fair enough. The 3 Imperial Iron Wall is the card that I have the most problem with in this deck. It doesn't hurt in any way, shape or form, apart from Sisunder. Obviously you're going to use it at the right time, blah blah blah, and you normally want Sisunder to go off earlier, so like first turn as such, because you normally said you'd do Seahorse, Sisunder, banish, get, and if you had Imperial Iron War then fair enough, you've set up okay. But I don't know if 3 personally I would run. Like, that's one of the main things I don't like with the deck, personally, because it's my playing style. And that's just what I think. Imperial Iron Wall I think is a little bit overkill. The 2 Seven Tools of the Bandit, this seems to be everyone's choice card currently, just to stop the Trapstuns, the Vanities, the Imperials, everything. So I can't really say much about that. The 1 Soul Drain, a little bit weird, but again, it's Dragon Hate, and the rest are pretty standard. So the main deck, he said, and he made very clear, it is just an anti-dragon deck. He does hold in high regard the fact that in his feature matches, he didn't get any Dragon Hate cards and still won. And to be commended, definitely, because you've just won without having those cards, without utilising the cards that he mained and sided specifically for that matchup. So it's pretty good that he did that. I have a fair bit of respect for him just because of the duelist he is, and it's pretty impressive that he can consistently do this with this deck. And big fan of this deck. It's nice to see. So going on to the side. We have 2 DD Crow. There's kind of a couple of decks that hits. The Calibrator, great synergy with this deck, but definitely a side choice card, format depending. The Messenger of Peace, again, works very well with this deck, format depending. DNA Surgery, he said, was to stop prophecies mainly, but he didn't run into any. The Gozo Match, pretty standard, stops dragons. Chain Disappearance was for Dragoonity dragons, as far as I'm aware, like with the Phalanx and all that jazz. And the 1 Dust Tornado was just back row hate. And then the side doesn't the extra deck doesn't really need to be commented on that much. It's quite standard. The one thing I would point out is he only ran 1 Starleash Pile Dynamo. Personally, I would always run at least 2. I don't see the needs that I wouldn't run 2, just because I think it's such a good card. I think it should be run. And the other one to note was Avenging Knight Parshath, which he basically said was to steal games. The 3/6 punch over the Dragosack token is what he wanted to do. So it's pretty good just to have that. If you have the space, then it's a nice card to have, definitely, because you can just kind of push for games and get some advantage. And yeah, that's basically it. So that's the deck. I want to know what you guys think of this. If you're a Honda player, do let me know. There's been a bit of discussion on how decks now seem to just be decks that win in this format are just anti-dragon decks. They're kind of like the very basic core, and then they've just got dragon hate in them. And I don't normally like decks that do that, because they normally sacrifice and have to sacrifice the key cards, and therefore they become a shell of what the actual deck should be. I think with Hundas they have a great flexibility, and their core per se, their actual core is very small, so it is easy to put, you know, like tech cards and hate cards main decked and not affect the consistency, because, you know, as I said, the deck works really well. There's, like, say, you could argue that there's about 20 cards definitely needed in this deck to run it. So they're, you know, Seahorse, the Mahunda, Pahunda, Sisunda, you know, if you want to use them, Violent Prisma, Honest, and also with the recycling batteries are needed in there, and I think Pot of Dualities are also needed. So you know, you've got like nearly, well, basically over half a deck to play with, and that's why I think, you know, they will be there. They will be kind of like, you know, catching people off guard and being played until, you know, until they get hit. But they're not going to get hit, or indirectly get hit. Maybe Pot of Duality goes again, or, you know, something crazy like that. But so that's it, guys. That's kind of like my discussion on the video, on the deck. I think it's really well done. Commended that he got that far, and he should be proud of himself. And certainly won the respect of like Hunter players and other players. So yeah, so that's it, guys. Do let me know, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll have a video to his deck profile in the link below. Cheers.